I got that going. And so we'll start asking the questions and we'll knock them on out though. So how's the weather over there?
Uh, a lot better than Canada at the moment. Canada is a little too hot for my liking. This is a nice 15 to 18 degrees during the day and like 8 to 12 at night. So,
Where are you at right now?
I'm in Stockholm, Sweden.
That's what I thought. It's didn't think I don't know how the weather is over there. I think it's I always thought it would always be cold, you know.
No, well, the winters are cold, but the spring, summer, and fall, it's balmy.
Well, so I guess you just released the album last Friday,
Yes.
and how has that been? What's been the feedback on that?
A lot more positive and more streams than I thought we were going to get, which is, I'm pretty pessimistic person naturally. So
Right.
um, seeing a positive surprise like this makes me feel pretty good.
When you did the album, how long from the start to beginning did some of the songs overlap from the previous album or from just different things that you were doing? And then how long did it take to like actually get a finished product?
Um, so yeah, I'll divide that up into two separate things. So my writing process and my producing process are almost two completely different games. So the writing part comes very quickly. So yeah, I think all in all, the whole album was written in less than 6 months. But when it comes to properly producing it and like fine tuning all of the songs and whatnot and actually getting it, you know, mixed the way I want it to and
Right.
waiting for all the other members to do their parts and stuff, it takes quite some time. So I wrote the whole album in 2023, actually,
Right.
after Cosmic Warfare. And then, yeah, I kind of went on like a writing rampage and I wrote four albums worth of stuff from then till uh last year. And then yeah, now we're just kind of like seeing which album is going to come next and then we focus on that for a good year, refining it and then getting properly mixing it and mastering and all the good stuff.
What's your favorite song from the album to play, or which one do you like?
I think it's a tie between To a New World and Old Gods Awaken, just because I think To a New World is maybe one of the simpler songs I've written. So it was me really exploring a simpler writing format and getting accustomed to, the ABs, whatever
Right.
format of writing. And yeah, it was really fun to write that song just because it came so quick. And I was just like, I don't know, just good vibes the whole time writing it. There was no real deep moment or anything that happened when writing it. But Old Gods Awaken, I'd say, just because it's more traditionally Atavistia's style of songwriting, long and um, lots of feeling behind it. And yeah.
So, you're from Vancouver, you guys are from
Yeah.
up in there. So, is it more, do you write an album catered to more of a European status or maybe to the States? And the reason why I ask is because I think Canada is more connected to the European province, the States. That's my
I
feeling, but
Yeah, I would say Eastern Canada is more connected to Europe, but Western Canada, where we are, is more aligned with American style metal, I would say.
right. So more in line to like with LA and like
Yeah,
more stuff of that nature.
a lot
Um,
more death metal and tech death and
right.
sludgy kind of stuff.
So when are you like as far as touring wise and what you're doing now and things of that nature, do you have it all set up for the rest of the year? Do you have years or do you have a plan as far as like a cutoff date and start working on other projects and things of that nature?
Um, we're pretty organized when it comes to what we want to release and when we want to release it, but when it comes to touring and other logistical stuff like that, it's all kind of up in the air. Like we don't
Right.
know when the right moment is, which bands are the right ones to tour with at the moment. Um, yeah, because it's just getting more and more expensive to tour, which is not really the best excuse why we're not touring, but it's just kind of a logistical as what we should really focus on. Is that coming back to Europe again or really trying to do the US circuit? But that comes with a lot of caveats like visas and yeah, just we gotta figure some stuff out.
I think me personally, from doing this and being in the industry for so many years, it seems like it's getting harder and harder, like you just brought up, for bands to tour. So they make albums, and they really rely on those pre-sales and whatever we got to do, whatever you got to do to kind of recoup of what you've been doing. It is getting harder, I think. I don't know if it's just the economy, but it's getting harder for bands to tour nowadays.
Mhm.
For people to show up and go out to venues and different things like that. Have you guys seen any of that with what you're doing, or even part of that? So,
Um, well, to be honest, like this is kind of what the album Old Gods Awaken is about. It's about we're getting lost in this almost fake evolutionary process that we're just falling so quickly into. Like it's the progression of technology and mindsets and everything from throughout time until right now has kind of been a pretty steady progression, and then it just went. And I think it's just overloading a lot of people's thoughts. And you know myself personally, unfortunately, I'm not someone who really enjoys going to shows like I used to. I'm a statistic in that aspect. It also doesn't help that in Canada I live 2 hours away from any city that has shows. So I'm kind of in the middle of nowhere, which actually is a good excuse.
all right.
But yeah, I feel like there's just a big mindset shift. And just because everything is so online now, you can kind of access anything at any moment. And it kind of takes away of that magic of being somewhere in the moment. Does that make sense?
It makes 100% sense because me and my girlfriend deal with the same thing. So, I mean, we get invited, or I get invited to shows all the time to either cover it through press or whatever we got to do. And I feel that I don't know what it is since the 2019, what happened there till now. I just don't want to deal with people. I just don't want to deal with the riffraff of whatever. I
Hmm.
do want to see a good show. I do want to see a good band. But again, some of the bands that I've seen, I'm not going to name anything. I'm pretty sure you can relate. But some of the older bands that's been out, I've seen them 10 times. Like the set list has not changed. You're not bringing anything new to the table to me. I want to see bands like yours. I want to see bands that I've never seen before. I want to see new stuff. But it just seems like the venues and different things are crowded with these bands coming through. And I'm like, well, I have no desire to go do that for the 20th time.
Yeah.
And not meet, not see anybody, because I've met them all and I've interviewed them and whatever. Not to say I'm tired of it, but I'm just kind of like, I want to see new things. And that's why doing this is such a pleasure with me, because I get to see bands like you that I don't know if I'm ever going to see in my lifetime, which is kind of goofy to say, but at the same degree, I get to enjoy your music. It's almost like going to the record store back in the day and finding the album of like, look at this, who is this
Yeah.
guy or who is this, look at that album cover. And I would have bought your album cover just strictly on just the visualization of itself, So I feel that, the talent that you guys have and what you're producing and what you're doing is just incredible. And it's something that bands like you guys need to be seen more often. And I think that I'm I'm just gonna say this. I think older bands need to kind of like move to the side a little bit. I've been saying this for the last 5 or 6 years. They need to kind of let these bands like you guys come through, develop, and start paving the way. And that's my feeling.
Yeah, no, I can see why many, including yourself, would think that. Like, of course, there's parts of me that think that as well, but that's not really fair, in my opinion, to those bands because that's kind of their living as well.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
it's like I don't want to take away that from them. What I think needs to happen is more of an accommodation of more risk taking. There's no risk taking anymore. Um, back in the day when getting signed to a label or booking agent, they were all taking risks on these bands. It's not really the same anymore. You have to meet a certain statistic and threshold before even certain parties will look at you. Um, and I don't know if we should cut that part or not. That's kind of
No, you're fine.
okay.
We
But yeah, that's just my viewpoint on it, and I'm not trying to sound like somebody who's making excuses like, oh well, why aren't we there yet? It's just like I understand from labels' perspectives now. It's really difficult to take risks anymore. There has to be like a for sure um, uh, uh, outcome of a new band that they're going to take on. So with everything getting so expensive now, it does make sense. I understand it's unfortunate, but I do think that there needs to be more of a risk-taking mindset within the industry. And, you know, I think that's where the magic comes from. Like back when I started listening to bands like Winter Sun and Ensiferum, all the bands that I'm inspired by to create Atavistia's music, I didn't even know what they looked like. Like I didn't even know their names. I didn't know what they do for a living outside of music. I didn't
right.
know like what they ate for breakfast this morning. And it's like, I really don't like that about the modern digital world in the industry because you're taking it, the magic is being lost. And it's depressing because it's like no matter how cool the music is of a new band that I hear, if I see them on social media and if I know who they are just like that, it's kind of like, oh, you know.
Yeah, I think meeting people over the years and going to shows and getting personally involved, because whenever I meet a big time musicians, we don't talk about music. We talk about life. We talk about,
Mhm.
hey, my kids are doing this, or I just bought this, or I'm doing this. We went to, I think we went to a Testament show, and we just were out back with everybody, and the whole tour. And we're just talking about BS, just not music, no, whatever. And I would never think when I walk away from it, like, I know these guys on a personal level. I'm not saying it makes anything less. It's kind of cool, but at the same degree, it's like, well, the ambiance is gone. It's like, it's they're just my buddies. Like we just talk about
Mhm.
music. Um,
And I think there is a difference with that though, because you're meeting these people in person and
oh yeah,
developing a connection in person, which
yeah.
is totally lost in today's online world.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
without a doubt. It's the online situation is just it's brutal.
it's gross.
So who when you were growing up, who influenced you to do what you're doing now?
It's obvious. Yeah, Winter Sun and Sephirum,
Right.
Bodum, yeah, all the Finnish bands.
I got to meet Children of Bodom. I got to meet Alexei um, uh, right before he passed. He was in tour, and I never seen that band ever in my life. And everyone's like, you got to go see him. You got to go see him. And I went to go see him. And obviously, and back then, which wasn't that very long ago, you got to meet these guys. Like, they were walking around and like, I stopped them, and he was one of the most nicest, sweetest guys I ever met in my life. Uh,
Mhm.
and he stopped and talked to me and whatever. And it was like the most coolest thing. I Not saying they're not, but European bands to me are way more approachable than some of the American bands. You know, I got to meet Mayhem, which to me those are the godfather of death metal. You know, or I mean, or black metal. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And I got to meet I got to meet all those guys and Attila and whatever, and he was one of the nicest, sweetest guys you ever meet. You know, you were like he was just like
It's funny, isn't it?
and you would think he wouldn't be that way.
Yeah.
But he was. He was like, we did an interview with him, and it was kind of funny. It was really weird, but it was. I asked him. I said, "What is the misconception that fans, you know, think of the acts and whatever, you know, what you're doing?" And he basically was like, "This, you know, all the people that we hang out with backstage. It can be any band. It could be bands that you would never think that we would ever talk." But we are hanging out backstage.
Yeah.
He just didn't name names, but I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't think he would be standing next to XYZ bands, you know, and he was like,
Hmm.
we're standing here and we're all talking. We're in the same world, you know, we're in the same business. And
Yeah.
fans, you know, fans are just very, and I don't think it's like that anymore because fans are not, you know, they're not very, you know, oh, you don't listen to blah, blah. And I'm like, who gives a shit? We can listen
Yeah.
to whatever we want to do. But with the album being made and what you're doing, who created the artwork? What was the inspiration about behind that?
So we used Costin Cioriano.
Hmm.
He's, he's worked on a lot of big names. Uh, and yeah, we found his artwork just to be unbelievably beautiful and unique. And yeah, we've used him since our EP Inane Ducum back in 2024. And yeah, I want to keep using him because I don't know, he just understands really well what I'm trying to portray. And I send him references and send him all the lyrics, the demos at the time, or pre-mastered, whatever. And yeah, he just understands. I think he understands the vision I'm trying to portray, and he's a hell of an artist.
It is fantastic. I really do like the artwork. What is your writing process? I know you spoke about it a little bit. Do you ever go to anybody else for kind of like not advice, but just kind of like, you know, combine forces and stuff like that? Do you ever do any of that, or is it just all you?
It's all me, but there are times where I try to get the other members involved, and uh, not on this album, but the next album. But for moving forward, stuff. There is stuff that has been written by other members for each song, but I would
Right.
still say I'm the main writer. Like, my guitarist, he sent me like just this clean guitar intro passage, and he's like, do what you will. Like, he's like, do your magic with it. And I said, okay. And then I turned it into an 11-minute song. So
Oh wow. Do you like doing the longer songs compared to the shorter songs, or or is it just the feeling?
it's the feeling. It's just like whatever mood I'm in. I think the past couple of years of my crazy writing sessions have just been like schizophrenic to a lot of people. So
Right.
some moments there's one album that I did that I wrote the whole album in a week.
Oh wow.
But it was like it was very unhealthy. Like, I would not recommend doing this. I was just testing myself. I wanted to see like how fast I could write an album. And I think it was just over a week. But like, I wasn't eating properly, and I was like very unhealthy, and it's not something I would recommend doing. But yeah, since then I'm kind of depleted. It's
Right.
been over a year since I've written anything for Atavistia, but I've been doing some other projects that I'm not ready to talk about yet. But that's just more of like I have to use those creative muscles still, but I just wasn't feeling it to keep writing for Atavistia, but there was still that creative muscle that needed to be flexed.
Right.
That sounds so pretentious.
What is your dream tour?
Dream tour. Oof. Uh, Winter Sun and Sephirum Atavistia.
Do you ever try to make that happen, or do you want to try to make that happen, or no?
I, I'm the type of person that I do not like reaching out to people directly. Like I feel a lot more comfortable if an opportunity comes to us. Obviously, like for example, we got offered to open up for Ensiferum and Firewind in Vancouver this September, and we're like, oh yeah, of course.
All right.
But you know, opportunities like that, I would rather wait to I would rather have them want us rather than us begging to be with them, you know?
Right.
So, yeah, so there's a fine balance that needs to be done though, because you do have to be confident and reach out to people and do stuff on your own. But I I personally would rather wait for the opportunities to come to us rather than me. Yeah.
Do you guys have any big festivals coming up, or are you focused on any of that stuff coming up in the future, or something you could talk about, or anything you can share, or are you just kind of playing it by ear right now?
Playing it by ear.
All right.
Because we have some ideas of stuff that we want to do on our own if certain things don't work out that we're inquiring with at the moment. But yeah, it's all play by ear, which is probably the most annoying thing about this band is that the music aspect, there's no problems, but like my uh-oh.
Oh, I'm right here. Oh, what
Oh, okay.
happened? What
Well, I
happened?
thought I cut out for a second because I'm outside.
Yeah, you flickered for a minute and then it went to this. Hold on, real quick. Let me get a thing over here. I don't know what is going on. Maybe it's the computer. The cat was playing with it a while ago, so I don't know what she was doing. She was playing hopscotch with it. She's always into something. She's always trying to play with something, and but you were flicking out a little bit. So I was just like, well, maybe it's just because of you over there. You know? So I took
Okay, that seems better.
There we go. There we go. Hey, how about I plug it in? But other than that, like I said, is there any way for the fans to reach out to you guys?
Oh, on any social media platform, our email, our website. Yeah, feel free to reach out and say whatever you want. We words don't hurt us, so you could write a novel about how much you hate us and I'll still reply to it. So,
Oh Lord. Do you guys have any endorsements that you want to talk about or anything you want to share with that?
we do. I just don't know what the clauses are on some of them, but mine,
Mhm.
for example, I'm endorsed with Evertune and Stringjoy Strings.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, our drummer is endorsed with Vader drumsticks and Pearl. So, okay, yeah, I don't know why I don't know if there's a clause that we can't talk about, but yeah, those are
No,
our main endorsements. So,
you think they would be, yeah, say everything you want to say. Is there any place in Vancouver that's just just a hot spot to go watch metal?
I'm laughing because Vancouver is a little rough at the moment. But I mean, there's the Rickshaw Theater, which has been around for a long time and has been the main hub of metal. But not to get out of music and talk politics and stuff, but that area is not great anymore. I mean, it was never good, but it's very not good now. So
Seems like
it's a
that
stain.
seems like that's a lot with with Canada, with a lot of provinces, like Montreal and different places. I hear the same kind of thing a little bit in Ottawa.
Hmm.
In the States, we have venues, but they seem to go under quite a bit. And
Yeah,
because
there's
they're just,
been quite a few in Vancouver that have gone under too. Smaller clubs, but still,
yeah,
like
they
every
just,
every little club that's around helps, but they just slowly go under, and it's just depressing because the leasing costs of property in Vancouver is unbelievable, and like I don't understand how any business can survive, let alone thrive. So
you'd have
it's
to,
just a weird world.
you'd have to do a sellout every night. You'd have to do, you can't have a venue playing music. You would have to have a venue that sells food and different stuff throughout the nights that you're not having bands. But I mean, before the thing in 2019 happened, I was going to venues every Friday and Saturday night, sometimes Monday and Tuesday, depending on who's showing up.
Hmm.
And it seemed like that place was thriving, and things were happening. But nowadays, it doesn't seem like that anymore. It doesn't seem like it's the way it's supposed to be.
It seems like a lot of people, not just fans, but bands themselves, venue owners, promoters, booking agents, there's a little bit of a fuck this mindset.
It's like I
But
said, it's when we go out places, it's I don't know if it's the anxiety or if it's just something that we're dealing with that I'm just kind of like, okay, that's enough of this. And
mhm,
it's not the music at all. It's not whatever. It's just the people around me. I'm like, okay, I don't want to. You got too close to me. Like that's not okay. I gotta go,
mhm,
um but like I said before, it's I do love going out seeing bands, but again, I've seen so many set lists and so many things and so many stuff. I would rather go to a concert and meet those people and talk to them and bullshit with them rather than standing there and watch. Okay, you played that song 20 times. Like
mhm.
want to go do that kind of stuff. Hobnob a little bit. Um, but as far as everything, I think the album that you created is fantastic. I was just like, from the beginning to end, I was just like, this is just the most coolest shit I've never. I've listened to a couple of your albums throughout the past, but when this came out, I was just, I love this music. I love this genre. I love this stuff, and I listened to so many different, obviously, so many different types of music
Yeah,
and different stuff.
I
You have
bet.
no idea. We got a radio station, and we built that from the scratch or ground up, and we've got so many record labels sending us stuff and doing things, and so the stuff that we're doing is just amazing. But other than that, man, I appreciate you doing the interview and taking the time to do it.
Yeah, of course.
We've talked about pretty much everything that you could talk about. And we've been playing your music on the radio so far, and we're going to continue to play it on the radio.
I appreciate
Um,
it.
and I'll send you a link to that as well. And if you want to share it or whatever, you can. And I think we hit around 1,500 a week now. And so we're
Oh,
doing
cool.
pretty good. And then everybody in the industry knows what we're doing. I've been around the block for quite a while. So, but I'm going to do everything I can to keep on pushing your stuff as much as I possibly can. And
I
we'll always
really
support
appreciate
the
that.
band. And it just is what it is. So I wish nothing but the best of luck to you, and just keep making fantastic music. That's all I'm going to say. So I
No, thank you
appreciate
very much.
everything, man.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I just hope I didn't I wasn't too pessimistic or anything.
People say that about me all the time, and I'm like, I'm not. I'm just telling you the fucking truth. Like, I'm
Yeah.
sorry that it's pissing you off, or it makes you mad, or why is he not like smiling all the time? I'm like, it's not that, whatever. I'm just kind of like, it's just our life. I kind of wish, maybe it sounds old to us, but I want it the way it was, and it's just never going to go there.
I want 2004 to 2010.
Yep.
And I
Anything
mean,
before 2016, I think I'm good.
I was 9 to 15 years old, and I wasn't even going to shows, but or anything like that. But that was my awakening moment in music, was from 2004 to 2010, and then after that, it was kind of It slowed down a little, and then now it's really hard for me to really get invested in new music. But I have been quite a lot lately, and all of these new bands that I'm listening to, they're not popular by any means.
No,
They just write really good music, and I have no idea who they are. I know
that's
where they're from, but I have no idea about their personal lives.
nope.
And I feel like that is the way to go. And we try to do that. Like, we don't post memes or any silly shit on our social media. I mean, yeah, there might be videos and stuff of us being silly, but I'm not going to intentionally clickbait my way to views or anything like that just from posting content that's not related to our music.
I think with the radio station and what we do, I don't like. I thought Sirius. I just posted a thing about what my feelings and what my thoughts are on Sirius XM radio, and we do not have any commercials on our radio station. We will not have any commercials on our radio station. It's 24/7 music. Um,
Mhm.
we do have the station identification, but other than that, we don't do any of that bullshit. We don't talk. We don't do any of that crap. And I listen to the same thing with, I find bands all the time. I try to go on Apple Music and find bands that I've never heard of, and I try to get involved into trying to find out more music about them. I want to hear more stuff about them. I don't give a shit about what they do during their private life or whatever. I don't want to know. I just want to
Yeah.
listen to the music. That's my way of going to the record store and finding an album and being like, this is cool. I didn't know what that was. Kind of like when I found King Diamond or whoever I was into. And back in the day, I think me personally, I bought albums because of how cool they looked.
Yeah.
I had no clue. I had no freaking clue who the hell they were. I
And
didn't
this
know.
goes back to you're taking a risk.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's how it was back then. I did the same thing. Like, I grew up in the transition of CDs to digital, but I would still go to record stores and like flip through the metal section and see like, oh, this is really cool. And I'd take a chance. Sometimes it would be a total flop, and sometimes it would be right up my alley. And it's like, I feel like that magic and that risk taking needs to come back. Otherwise, the music's gonna go away forever, and it's just gonna be replaced by AI slop.
It is. It's something that AI is just, unfortunately, it's here. It's not going to go anywhere, I don't think.
Mhm.
The way I want to go. My girlfriend works for a big banking company, and they use it all the time. And I don't feel like our artwork and what we do with our stuff is not AI. We have to takes hours to piece things together,
Yeah.
and how I do it. But like I said before, I think with your music and you, that album would have been one of the albums that I would have found and been like, I don't know, like what's going on. I'm gonna take it home, and that's the best feeling, is to get home and to find out that it feels good. It is what it is.
Mhm.
But nowadays, it just seems like there's music not like that, and sometimes and these venues and different things. I want to see bands like you. I do want to see bands, and that's my biggest. I've screamed up for years. I want to see new stuff coming into
Yeah.
the region where I live, and they're not. They just bypass St. Louis altogether. My business partner lives in Vegas, and he's like, sometimes they come down here, sometimes they don't. He's feeling the same effect down there. And I just think these big tours are just hitting. It's not big tours. They're doing more big festivals, and that's how it is. And I'm going to be honest with you. I don't want to go to any of that. I don't want to go stand in 100-degree heat with some, I'm not going to say it, just a bunch of, and
Yeah.
if I tell my girlfriend, hey, we're going to go to a festival it's going to be 110 out in Missouri and humidity up in 100, and we're going to go see it, she's going to look at me and be like, no, we're not doing any of that. It's got to be something remarkable that she's never seen before.
Yeah.
So but like I said before, your music is a fresh breath of air, and I really enjoy it, and we're going to post it and push it as much as we possibly can. I like these kinds of interviews because they're mostly, these are the ones that mean something rather than the more cut and dry kind of guys.
And we're
Which is,
talking about real shit. We're not just
no,
talking about what everybody wants to hear. It's like, and of course, I'm not going to sound like a conspiracy truth bomber either,
no,
but it's just, this is the reality, and I don't feel like I have a proper podium to talk the way I'm talking, so I might be a little self-conscious and wary about what I say. But it's just like, yeah, I've been doing this for almost 10 years now with Atavistia, and it's like, oh, there's a lot of weird stuff that goes on out there.
there is definitely. It's something that, like I said before, I'm able to meet. I'm able to see things. I'm able to talk to people, especially with interviews. And a lot of times, what you're speaking throughout the years have been the same kind of thing from bands like of your stature.
Yeah.
And I've interviewed big bands, like very big bands, and they seem like their hands are tied with having bands of your stature come aboard. This it's just the industry. I think the worst enemy, and I've said this before, the worst enemy of the metal industry is the metal industry.
Mhm.
They're unlike any other industry that I've ever dealt with or seen. You don't see this out of any other genre as far as pop and blah blah blah. You'll see XYZ big name pop star, and they're with like, who the hell is this? That's what they do, though. They bring all those people out, and that's why they have the turnover the way they do. I want metal to have that turnover as well. I want you guys to have the chance in the sun to play with your idols and play with your friends and play with people, to get that experience and get that out there, because people don't know that you exist. And that's just a horrible shame. And I've always said that before. And I just think that these, I don't know who's doing it, but it's like, I think it's just trying to, they're trying to recoup what they put out. And I get it. It's life. But at the same degree, it's, we got to
Yeah.
have more people hearing what you're producing, because what you're producing and what you're doing is phenomenal. I really do think it was very phenomenal.
I appreciate that a lot. Thank you.
But with that being said, thank you for the interview. Thank you for taking the time. Thank you for doing this and your honesty. And I wish you nothing but the best of luck. And we will keep on supporting your work no matter what. And hopefully we can get to meet one day, and I get to see you guys live. Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully sooner than later. Yeah.
Yep. Yes, sir.
I
You have a
appreciate all the
great
kind
day.
words.
Thank you. And you're welcome. And you have a great day and have a great weekend.
Thank you so much. You as
All
well.
right. Take care. Bye-bye.
See ya.